Deep in the countryside, there stood a house no one dared to enter. The villagers called it the House on Silent Hill, a crumbling, forgotten structure at the edge of a dense forest. Rumors swirled about its dark past, of a family that disappeared without a trace and the chilling screams that sometimes echoed from its empty halls. But to Zane, an adventurous 18-year-old, it was the perfect place to explore. Zane's friends warned him not to go, but he dismissed their fears as baseless. Armed with a flashlight and his phone, he made his way to the house one foggy evening. The air grew colder as he approached, and an unnatural silence blanketed the hill. The door creaked open with a touch, as if inviting him in. Inside, the house smelled of decay and dust. The walls were adorned with faded portraits whose eyes seemed to follow him. The wooden floor groaned under his weight, and cobwebs hung like curtains in every corner. As Zane moved through the house, his flashlight flickered. In the living room, he found a diary lying on a cracked coffee table. Its leather cover was brittle, and the pages were filled with frantic handwriting. The last entry read, "It won't let us leave. The shadows are alive. Pray for us." Zane felt a chill run down his spine, but forced himself to continue. As he climbed the staircase to the upper floor, the atmosphere grew heavier, almost suffocating. At the end of the hallway, a door stood ajar. From inside, he heard faint whispers. He froze, his breath caught in his throat. Summoning his courage, he pushed the door open. The room was empty except for an old rocking chair, which swayed gently on its own. Suddenly, his flashlight went out, plunging him into darkness. The whispers grew louder, now coming from all around him. "You shouldn't be here. Leave." Panicked, Zane fumbled with his phone, using its weak light to navigate back to the stairs. But when he turned, the hallway stretched infinitely, and the door he had entered through was gone. Shadows began to move along the walls, forming grotesque shapes that seemed to reach for him. Desperate to escape, Zane ran, his footsteps echoing unnaturally loud. He stumbled into the kitchen, where he found a broken mirror on the wall. In its fragmented surface, he saw not his reflection, but the image of a family, the same family from the portraits. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow, and they were staring directly at him. Behind him, he heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps. Turning slowly, he saw a figure standing in the doorway. It was tall and shrouded in darkness, its features obscured. It raised a hand, and the whispers turned into a deafening roar. Zane screamed and bolted toward what he thought was the front door. Bursting through, he found himself not outside, but back in the same living room where he had started. The diary was open again, but this time, the words, "You can never leave," were scrawled across every page. The last thing Zane remembered was the shadow figure stepping out of the mirror, its cold, skeletal hand reaching for him. Days later, Zane's friends searched for him, but found no trace. The villagers said the house had claimed another soul. They warned everyone to stay away, for once the house on Silent Hill welcomed you, it would never let you go. And if you're ever near that hill and hear whispers in the wind, remember, it's not the wind at all. It's the house, waiting for its next visitor.